Welcome back everyone to another ESO build video. Today is a brand new build to the channel. It's the first Arcanist build on my channel as well. This is a 1-bar healer called the Book Wizard. That's right, the Book Wizard, because he uses books and magic. Now, Zos has given us the okay to release builds, but obviously a quick disclaimer, there is a couple of weeks left on the PTS. If anything isn't working as intended, there might be some minor adjustments along the way, but for the most part, we should be good to go. Now, this healer is designed to be very simple, very easy to use, and it needs to obviously work in content. And it does. It provides minor buffs. It provides massive heals in area of effect and a stupidly long beam heal, which I will have to demonstrate in a little while. It is absolutely insane. The build is designed to consolidate all the needs for a healer and make it really simple. So we're going to go into the stats first of all, but we need some buffs. So buff number 1 and a potion. Done. 36.9k max magicka, 26.5k max health, and 14k max stamina. You have 1.4k mag recovery, 1k stamina recovery, and 500, almost 600 health recovery. Spell damage is sitting on 3.9k. That will go up to about 4.5 yourself. And with group buffs and bonuses, you can actually hit roughly 6, which is absolutely fine, especially for a healer build where you need spell damage to obviously enhance the spells, including damage or healing spells. We are 36.6% on crit chance. That will actually go up with buffs from your group. You can go over 40. And our resistances are on 20 and 15.7. That can go up with a minor bonus to your resistances, which you can get from your group and from other sets and bonuses and skills. We don't currently have that at the moment. 64 points into max magicka to get the most out of our resources. Nothing in anything else unless you really need to, but just bear in mind that will lessen the effectiveness of some of your skills. And we've got all these buffs and bonuses, loads of them. Max health, max magic food. Don't use anything else. You don't need recovery food. You don't need any of that shiny stuff. You just need flat blue max health, max magic food. That is a bug that's been there forever, but technically speaking, 5.3k max health, 4.9k max magicka. Now we're going to go into the skills. These are all going to be very new to you, I'm sure. If you haven't been on the PTS already, sure, you maybe seen a video here or there, or maybe you haven't, but no one has access to this in-game yet. So for the majority of players, this is going to be a very new thing. So try to keep up when I explain what they do. Don't panic. It's going to be fine. So, very simply put, first of all, Chakram of Destiny is in the Curative Runes, Rune Forms skill line, the healing skill line, if you like. And it is the third ability to unlock. Starts off as shields, morph it to destiny. Now this will consider your maximum resource and it will pull the costs from there. So if you had high stamina, it will pull from there. If you have high magicka, it pulls from there. We're built on magicka. That's why it's coming from that pool and that's why it costs magicka. This basically is a frontal damage shield. You and 4 allies or up to 4 allies in front of you will absorb damage up to 10.6k, 10.7 almost. That can get higher if you've got more magicka, and that is normally going to kick in if you get a Warhorn. So that can go up to about 12k or so. Big damage shield, lasts 6 seconds, and you can recast it if you need to. Recast it on a target that already has it, though, will make the shield 30% stronger. So that 10 to 12k ends up being quite large. You're basically throwing out Sork shields for your group. Bear in mind, by the way, this prefers low health targets. So it will hit whoever's in the way, but if someone's got lower health than anyone else, they will take priority. This also builds Crux. So the Crux system, basically, there are some skills that generate those triangle whizzy things that are going around my head, up to a maximum of 3. They will benefit you in many ways. They could give you more passive bonuses, or they could be used to be spent to make another ability stronger. So you give your group damage shields, you stack these Cruxes. That's important for later, but note that. So casting a damage shield gives a damage shield. Casting it again makes it stronger. Casting it full stop makes Cruxes appear. Next is Curative Surge. This is what it's all about. And this is absolutely bonkers. Now I'm going to demonstrate this in a little while because at the moment the tooltip looks nice, but it's going to be a bit more dramatic than that. So, second ability to unlock starts off as Remedy Cascade, morph it to Curative Surge. Again, this is considering your highest resources for the cost. So if you had more stamina, it would cost stamina. If you had more magic, it costs more magic. It costs magic instead even. Now, the range for this is insane. 22 meters in front of you by 4 meters wide. And it's a 4.5 second channel and it heals and takes magicka every 0.3 seconds. So it will actually cost you 3 times a second almost. The beam also grows in strength the longer the duration. So you can cut this off at any time, but if you leave it running, it gets stronger and stronger and stronger. And then the final part, these cruxes here, if you have 1 or 2 or 3 and you cast this skill, it will consume it. But each one that you consume will restore 728 magicka and stamina to your allies over the duration of the beam. So you're actually giving resources back to your group at the same as healing them. The heal from this is mad, and it doesn't just heal people in front of the beam, it heals you as well. Now, ignore the numbers for the moment because I'm going to give you a proper demonstration on this later, but this is what it looks like. All you need to do, because you can move, is aim that in the direction of your group. Now, that beam looks really thin, but look at the floor. It's going to get anyone in that line. So all you have to do is aim it at your group. If they move, you aim at them. So people that run into stupid or out of stupid, you can now chase them rather than spamming Breath of Life over and over and over and hoping you catch them. This will heal everyone for a stupid amount of health. Very, very powerful. That's your main oh shit heal button. On the ground heals, however, we've got some of that stuff too. Same skill line. 4th ability to unlock starts off as Arcanist Domain, morph it to Reconstructive Domain. This is loaded with buffs. You activate it, it puts a circle down on the ground, it lasts 20 seconds. 8-meter radius, really, really nice. And it gives the group minor fortitude, minor courage, minor intellect, and minor endurance. This will increase your weapon and spell damage by 215, and your health and magic and stam recovery by 15%. Note that they're all minor bonuses, so yes, they do stack with major versions, so you can use that and a potion at the same time, and you'll get both the benefits. And while standing in it, it heals over 20 seconds. People inside of this will heal as well. So you've got beam heal aiming at people, but you've also got a ground heal that heals them all the time. Don't let it run out. And if you do have to move, don't panic. You can just place it here instead. Happy days. Long, long duration heal. Very, very nice for your resources as well, because you don't have to keep recasting it unless you're in a mobile fight. Next up is obviously bubbles. We want to give synergies to the group. Now, no, don't forget, this gives resources back if you generate crux. Damage shield, damage shield, damage shield, beam, loads of resources back. This gives resources back as well, and it also heals. So you need to go into your Undaunted skill line, and you need to unlock Necrotic Orb and morph it to Energy Orb. Firing this out will heal people once a second, and it's a close quarter area effect. 8-meter radius, but it moves forwards. Lasts 10 seconds, so don't spam it too much, because obviously it'll keep resetting its path, but it will get quite expensive. And if people take a synergy, they will heal in area of effect, and they will gain back magicka or stamina, depending on which one is higher for them. Bear in mind, of course, this synergy can be activated multiple times. It doesn't have a one-time synergy take like a spear from a Templar. This can be taken many, many times along its duration. So the more people this passes through, the better. And simply put, it does this. Really, really easy. Anyone standing anywhere near it will constantly get heals, and if you take the synergy, you'll get resources back. So that is healing in front of you or wherever you cast it. This is also doing the same, and both of them give resources back while you've got ground AoEs doing stuff for you. Don't forget, damage shields. Yes, they look very cool. Now, next up is Healing Springs. Resto Staff skill line, first ability to unlock, so it's very easy to get hold of. You get it straight away. Morph it from Grand Healing to Healing Springs, and again, resource recovery is all part of this. You cast a circle AoE on the ground, which heals over 10 seconds. It's twice as strong as the Arcanist heal, because obviously it does roughly the same amount of healing, but over half the time. So you will have to maintain this a bit more often, but the two combined are absolutely bonkers. Not to mention, of course, it increases mag recovery by 15 for each target affected, stacking up to 20 times. So the more people inside this, the more mag recovery you get for standing in it. So you got recovery there from the beam, and recovery from the orb, all at the same time as putting out some massive heals. And you start stacking these together, it's really, really nuts, putting that amount of healing in area of effect and wherever you want to look at. So now we're going to go into the passives. Yes, the skills, actually no, ultimate first. We're going to go into the ultimate, then the passives. Really quick this, by the way. Being a 1-bar build, you don't have to invest too much time into understanding all the skills. You just need 5 in an ultimate. Now, this particular ultimate is also from the healing skill line, Curative Rune Forms, and it starts off as Vitalizing Glyphic, morph it to Glyphic of the Tides. You can choose the other morph, but you have to do damage to it rather than healing it, and this is stupid. Starts off with 53% health. It's a glyph in the middle of the cast, and all you have to do is heal it. If you heal it to full health, it will apply major protection to anyone inside of it, and it's massive. Not to mention, of course, anyone inside of it will also increase their weapon and spell damage, and it's a unique buff as well. It's not the same as minor or major courage. It's not the same as anything you'll get from any other set. It's a very unique one, so it does stack. It also heals people once a second, but there's a trick to this. So the weapon and spell damage bonus is for 12 people. The major protection is for 12 people. The healing is for 6. Now I can hear you saying, what use is that? Well, here's the trick. It only heals based on the proportion of the target's health. So if they are full health right now, they won't get a heal at all. So anyone that is dipping can take advantage of it. So if you've got 12 people in the middle of this circle and maybe 3 or 4 of them are lower health while the rest of them are full, they're the only ones that are going to get it. So in some situations that may be a little overlapping, so everyone might be losing health, but still at least the ones that are taking the most damage are the ones that are going to be prioritized. And once a second, this is actually a very strong heal. It can jump around from target to target depending on who needs it at the time. So if you've got people in your group that have lower resistances and they're taking more damage than most, this helps them out. But again, essentially, it's a damage bonus for the whole group and a mitigation bonus. Happy days. Looks like this. Very simple. All you need to do is heal that. Now, I'm not buffed at the moment, and that's not a problem for me to heal. It's full. It's capped. Anyone inside of this gets major protection, increased weapon and spell damage, and heals if you need it. It's a smart healing system where it only heals the ones that need it. Honestly, inside of all this, it's already overkill. It's bonkers. So, stack that up, drop it down, stack it up, drop it down. Maintain that as much as you can, unless, of course, you want to take advantage of other ultimates like Warhorn and stuff like that, which you can. But again, this is a unique bonus, so it stacks with anything like that. 200 ultimate, 15-second duration, and a 15-meter radius with a 28-meter range to cast it. You can drop this at range. It's huge. Now, we're going to go on to passives. Passives are nice and simple, but we won't necessarily need all of them. So Herald of the Time is generally our DPS skill line, but we can benefit from these. This one actually gives you 12% healing done from critical heals or damage done from critical damage. We're not going to be doing damage as such. We are going to heal though. And we do want those crits to happen. And when they do, we get a benefit. So all you need to do is have a crux. Cast it for the next 7 seconds. You get a bonus. Again, this will give you extra resources to your group if you're using the beam and you have a crux already active. So basically, put a damage shield on first, get this healing bonus, and then beam afterwards. You don't need 3, you just need to cast 1. When it's about to run out, cast another one. Keep that running. This one is a little weird. When you are restored, full bar this means, from magical or stamina, you increase your weapon and spell damage by 5% for 10 seconds. So basically, if you're using resources, but then you suddenly become full, that's when you'll get the bonus. A weird passive, but that's there nonetheless. Nice to have when you keep on top of your resources. These two do not require a DPS skill from this skill line to be slotted. This one does, so you're not going to need that. This, however, again, needs those skills on the bar. You aren't going to need that either. So both of these, activate Cruxes, get increased healing crits, refill your bar, get weapon and spell damage. The weapon and spell damage does increase the strength of your heals as well. So both of these contribute. Soldier of Apocrypha. Some of these words, by the way, and some of these tooltips are quite difficult to say. So if I stutter, tough, it's already happened. Form a secret soldier within your mind, defense against arcane forces without, while a beneficial soldier Apocrypha ability is active, which is not. So ignore that passive. See, they're difficult. This one, only for skills in this skill line, not required. Casting an Arcanist ability. Now, this is a tricky one. This one you do need. So you are going to want to unlock some of these along the way just to unlock passives. If you cast any Arcanist ability, you give your whole group minor evasion for 20 seconds, reducing the damage they take from area of effect attacks. Based on the fact that you can heal crazy high numbers, and you can drop major protection from your ultimate in a big area of effect, adding this on top is just nuts. You apply so much damage mitigation to the group, and you've got minor bonuses to make them do more damage as well. It's nuts. And also this you're going to need as well, these two. When you consume a crux, you gain ultimate, and this can happen once every 4 seconds. So if you do cast to apply a crux or make one happen, then you use it, this will kick in. So keep the crux up for the crit healing, use it to give people resources and help with the beam, and then build ultimate at the same time. This will all start making sense when I give you the demonstration shortly. Now, the healing skill line, obviously you want to get all of these. This one is increased healing done for each crux active. So 1 is 3, 2 is 6, 3 is 9. Bear in mind, obviously, if you consume this for the whole beam, then they're all gone and you need to start building them up again. That's a choice, but it does benefit you nonetheless. Or you could just keep all 3 of them, and if you don't need to use your beam right now because it's not an emergency situation, you can just benefit from constantly having increased heals from all your ground AoEs. This one is considering your max resources, but whichever one of the two is higher, when you generate a crux, you will actually restore some of that bar. Now, I've had people ask me what happens if you have both. Go test it. But honestly, for this build, there's no need. I don't want both. I want one increased max stat because I want that to all contribute towards the skills I'm using. So most cases, you're going to have one bar higher than the other. But if you want them both to be the same, you'll have to test it. I don't have the answers. But for us, we gain a crux, we get magic back. This one increases all of our recovery by 18% for magic and stamina. Absolutely bonkers. And this one, while a curative rune forms ability is slotted, your status as Illuminatus reduces the cost and increases the strength of your damage shields by 10%. So, basically, in English, your damage shields are stronger. Fantastic. Now, the really easy stuff, resto stuff. This is crucial to the build, so please understand that these passives are required, especially the first one. The most important thing for a healer to know is how to boost their strength in heals. So first of all, weapon and spell damage is a contributor. Secondly, your flat resources, the highest one of the two, contributes to its strength alongside weapon and spell damage. And finally, outside of any healing done bonuses that are quite obvious because they state them, major mending. Major mending is very, very important. You can get minor mending or major mending. Minor is 8%, major is 16%, but most people don't maintain the major mending for long enough. Major mending comes from a heavy attack on a restoration staff. That's it. Heavy attack first, heal second, job done. You get 4 seconds of this just for doing a heavy attack, and at the same time, obviously, you got resources back. If you're not heavy attacking as a healer, you better have major mending on tap, because otherwise you are less effective than you could be right now. But also at the same time, for doing that heavy attack, not including the healing done, because the major mending will stack on top of this, this is already set to give you 69% of the damage you do with that heavy back in the form of a heal. That can be on you or an ally. In off-balance situations, because we've already got Empower attached, if we crit damage that target, we can actually heal ourselves or somebody else way over 50k in some situations, just from a heavy attack, which is pretty nuts considering that's a tank to full health. Increases your healing done by 15% on allies under 30% health, so the lower their health, the bigger the heals that you do. For all heals, not just for resto heals, you just have to be holding a resto staff. Fully charged heavy attacks restore 30% more magicka than other weapons. And you restore 600 magicka whenever you block an attack, and this can happen every 0.25 seconds. If you're holding block, you get hit 4 times in a second, you just got lots and lots of magic back. Enough to cast one whole skill almost anyway. Increases healing done with resto staff spells by 5%. So this is the final one, obviously, that you need to get. It's only going to benefit this skill, but it's still nice to have nonetheless. With you using the resto staff all the time, you're going to max these out, but the first one is bloody crucial. Learn this quick. You must heavy attack. Light armor. We are using... How many pieces of light armor do we use? 5? 6. My bad. We've got 6. So, effectiveness versus snares, 24%. Reduces the cost of sprint, 18%. Increases magical recovery for each light piece worn, 24%. And reduces the cost of your abilities, which is 12%. We have increased spell resistance, which is why that is higher than our physical. We have crit chance, which is 1.3k, as you can see there. 219 is actually 1%. And we have increased physical penetration. Now, while physical penetration is... physical and spell penetration, sorry. While that is generally used for DPS, because it's not going to benefit our heals, it will actually benefit one heal. It will benefit the heavy attack. Higher the pen, the more damage the heavy attack does, the bigger the heal return from the resto passives. We are using 1 piece of medium armor. This is not a massive, massive bonus, but it is a nice one to have nonetheless. This increases your critical healing done, or damage done. This will increase your Let me go backwards. This will increase the stam recovery for 4%, which is not huge, but it will help us because we are going to need to block, break free, and dodge roll. Also reduces the cost of stam abilities. That part is irrelevant, but the top part helps. Reduce the cost of sneak, meh. Reduction to size of your detection area, also meh. Increases your weapon and spell damage. That does increase our heal strength. And your movement speed is increased, and you reduce the cost of dodge roll. Mostly, this is about our maintaining of our CC bar, if you like. You're dodging, you're blocking, you'll break free, all that kind of stuff. It enhances that ever so slightly. But we have got some increased heal potential out of this as well, even though it's a one-piece bonus. Heavy armor, we're not using any. Ignore it. Ignore all those. Not using Fighter's Guild. Not using Mage's Guild. Don't need Sigic Order or Thieves Guild. Undaunted is important. Obviously, you want to take every synergy you can get. It will give you resources back. Everything you need to know about that passive is right there. There's no exceptions from that. If it's a player-based synergy, it's going to be a positive effect, and you're going to get this back on top of it. Take the bloody synergies. And of course, we are using 2 types of armor, light and medium. So we get 2% for each type, giving us 4% to max resources across the board for all 3 bars. We're not using any of these skills. You can use Barrier, Warhorn, all that kind of stuff if you really want to, but just bear in mind you're going to have to sacrifice your class ultimate. Don't want to do that. It's nice and shiny. We are an Argonian, obviously. Most important thing, obviously, you swim faster. That's the only reason we're Argonian. Okay, I'm joking, but still, it's really fun. 6% increase to healing done. This did go higher than the spell damage increase for the high elf, but not by a lot. So if you want to be a different race, you can. This increases your maximum health by 1k, and your disease and poison resistance is up as well, so you take less damage from those sources. Very helpful as a healer as well, because you end up standing in stupid quite a lot. Increases your maximum magicka by 1k and your stamina by 1k. And when you drink a potion, you restore 3, 1, 2, 5 health, magicka, and stamina. We're using tripods, so we've got uptime on our recovery. We get resources back, and then you get all this on top. So basically, if you don't include healing done and minor vitality, major vitality, minor mend and major mend and all that stuff that could appear, your healing from the potion and your stats from the potion collectively end up being about 10k. Technically speaking, however, that heal is going to be like 12 to 18 or so, depending on whether you have all your bonuses in place or not. It's pretty nuts. But the flat variant, if we're not considering variables on top of that to make it higher, every resource, roughly 10k every time you pop potion. Alchemy, of course, medicinal use. Your potions last longer with this passive. You don't need the rest of the passives in this skill line. You just need that. We're using tripods. They give us back magicka, health, and stamina alongside the Argonian passive. And they give us major endurance, major intellect, and major fortitude, which is increased recovery. They will last for 47 seconds when your cooldown is 45 if you have this passive. Don't let your potion sit there doing nothing. Use it and take advantage of that constant buff because you have 100% uptime on it now. Really important passive. Not enough people pay attention to it. And even if they do, they still don't press their potions. Use your bloody potions. Now, we are going to go into the gear, and then I'm going to demonstrate how this works shortly after the champion points, and you can start to see some numbers. So, we are using, stay with me here, it's a 1-bar build. It's designed to be very simple, and it's designed to interlock or overlap lots of bonuses on purpose to make it very simple to use. Hold on. Vanus Resto Staff. This is in precise, just so we can get the extra crit bonus. Yes, of course, you can get the heal and done bonus if you go with powered, but honestly, you crit much less often. And while your base heals were much stronger, this did allow us to have some very lucky, very large crits. So the balance was tipped in the favor of this one. But you can change it if you want. Weapon and spell damage increase on the glyph, and that's pretty much it. That won't last throughout the whole beam, but it will last inevitably throughout content if you are not beaming too much and you're keeping up your hots on the ground. So that will help. Now, how does this work? Max magic, mag recovery, max magic, increase to weapon and spell damage, and after completing a fully charged heavy attack, you gain major mending for 5 seconds, increasing your healing done by 16%. This duration is increased with each rank of Resto Staff passive of Essence Drain when using a Resto Staff. So, this actually stacks, not overlaps, stacks with your Resto Staff passive, which is 4 seconds. This is 5. You can do the maths. 4 and 5 is 9 seconds. 9 seconds of major mending. How long is your beam? Your beam lasts 4 seconds. 4.5, in fact. If you heavy attacked with a basic Major Mendon from the Resto Staff skill line, it would run out before the final ticks come in, and that is where this is stronger. We have 9 seconds. Technically, we could squeeze in almost 2 per heavy attack. We're not going to do that. We're going to use it every one, but still, it will outlast the skill, so you'll get the most out of it the whole time. You cannot physically do that with any other setup outside of this because the duration is not long enough. Unless, of course, you were using Yulvilds, in which case you'd be close. Now, that technically doesn't matter where it goes because the other set we're using is also light. So you can have this set up in any order you like without a negative effect. The 2 sets we're using are all light armor, so mix and match as much as you want. But for simplicity's sake, we've put that on the staff and on the jewelry, 2 pieces. Both of them weapon and spell damage, both of them arcane. Make sure you use the magical version so you've got the recovery, because there's 2 different glyphs. One gives stam recovery, one gives mag recovery. And of course the Oaken Soul ring, which is just bonkers. While having this on your character, you cannot swap bars, but you get minor berserk, minor courage, major brutality, major sorcery, major prophecy, major savagery, minor force, minor protection, major resolve, minor mending, minor fortitude, minor intellect, minor endurance, minor heroism, minor slayer, minor aegis, and empower. Bear in mind, a couple of those are already on our buff, but that doesn't mean that it's for us. It's for the group. So just bear in mind, this here is for the group, not for you because you don't need it. However, if you feel like everybody in your group is already a 1-bar build and you don't need this stuff, you can sacrifice the heal over time and replace it with combat prayer and spam it a little bit if you want. That will give you resistance buff to the group as well. Remember, weapon and spell damage on all of them, recovery and arcane. Now, the Sanctuary set is the other set that we're using. I'm going to explain it in a moment, but as you can see, Vanus is on the belt, 2 jewelry pieces, and the staff. Again, any order is fine. Sanctuary we're using on purpose as well. This is max health, healing taken, and max magicka. And this increases your healing received by 10% for you and up to 11 group members within 10 meters. And this persists through death. So if you die, this still sits there. You may have seen the circle around me. This big, not that one, get off. Big circle moving around the room with me. That is your space. Anyone inside that space will receive 10% increased healing received to anything that they receive from themselves, the group, or you. That's the most important thing to know. Any heals inside of this circle will benefit, even if you didn't cast it. But they've got to be inside of it. Now, as far as simplicity is concerned, as far as gear acquisition is concerned, this can be traded. It's overland. Sanctuary comes from banished cells, so you can go into normal dungeons, base game normal dungeons. The only thing you need chapter wise or DLC wise is for the Oaken Soul ring, and if you've got Necrom, you should have High Isle as well, so it's not a problem. The only content you need to do is the normal difficulty or overland stuff. You do not need to do any vet content whatsoever to get the Oaken Soul ring, the Vanus set, or Sanctuary. And when it comes to the shoulder, you can take any shoulder piece in medium, or you can do it with the helmet instead. It's entirely up to you because the resistance is the same both slots. Anything that gives a heal and done bonus. We've gone with Earthgore because it's easy to pick up. You just use the key. But any other monster set that gives you heal and done, you acquire the same way. You can do a pledge on normal. You can do a banished cells pledge on normal, pick up your Sanctuary gear, and use the key to get this. You don't need to go into vet to get a monster helmet if you don't want to. You can just use keys and get that stuff there. If you want to go into vet, sure, you're guaranteed to get the helmet at the end, but you got to get the right weight. But technically speaking, it's very easy to put together. So again, we'll recap over the gear. Resto Staff, precise weapon and spell damage glyph. Yes, that does fall off halfway through the beam, but you're going to have that uptime quite a lot when it comes to the rest of the healing stuff that you're using. The heavy, again, is going to give the beam so much of a buffer because it's not going to run out before the skill does. Sanctuary, banished cells, easy to pick up. Heal and done, increase, no matter where anybody is inside that circle and no matter where the heal comes from. Bear in mind again, jewelry needs to be weapon and spell damage glyph with recovery on them. You can go with the stand recovery if you want because you're heavy attacking a lot, but it was really nice to have this. It was not better to have Infuse. As far as the heal output was concerned, Arcane did actually trump it because we've got a decent amount of spell damage when it comes to buffs and bonuses from groups anyway. Champion points first, then I'm going to show you how it works. Now, the yellow or white ones, depends on your eyes, are passives. They're inevitable. You will eventually unlock them all, and you can use them all without penalty. The only choices you have to make is your slottables. So basically, we want to make a path to unlock them. You are going to want all this stuff eventually anyway. You've got penetration bonuses, status bonuses, all these different things that are quite nice to have. In fact, I haven't even put that one in. But above all, you want your slottables. So unlock this here. 10 points into here, we'll unlock this. Fighting Finesse will increase your critical damage, not necessarily important, but above all as well, your critical healing done by 4% per stage. So if you do crit, you got an 8% increase there. Then come down to here. In this tree, you unlock this for 10 points, and you can unlock these if you want them. But again, healing done bonus. And once you've unlocked this tree here, even 10 points of it will open up this stuff. You want healing done bonus overall. That's right. All healing done from area of effect skills. Everything we're doing is area of effect except for our heavy attack. Healing done, again, for healing over time. Everything we do is heal over time except for the heavy attack. And finally, increases your weapon and spell damage towards healing abilities. Everything we do is a healing ability. These three bonuses benefit every single thing that we do in terms of healing. This here benefits every one of those heals so long as you crit. So it's win-win. The red tree, very simple. These don't require any prerequisites, so you don't need to unlock them, you just buy them. Max health, armor, and recovery. Now if you come down to here, you will need to unlock these to get them. This is 15 points into here, 10 points into here. You can take the health bonus, why not? But then unlock this for 10 points, along this way for 25 points, and then get the res passive. Healers should not be the first ones to try and resurrect someone. Because if you're resurrecting someone, while you're channeling that resurrection, you're not healing people anymore. Unless you're very good at multitasking. But if you're going for an easy build, you're probably not. This is an emergency fast res button. So if shit does hit the fan, and you haven't got an option but to resurrect people, put your hots on the ground and go and res them. And this passive here will make it a little bit faster for you. Templars are incredibly quick at resin. Everybody else is slow unless you count the Necro ulti. This will help. It's not something that you should use all the time, but it is something that is there in case you need it. Don't be always the first one to res. Just make sure that you're on the ball if shit does happen. This tree doesn't matter. It's all quality of life. I would recommend unlocking Rationer, so your food lasts longer. Liquid Efficiency, so that your potions have a chance to not be consumed, but they still work. So you basically get a free pop. Steed's Blessing, so that you're faster between fights. If you're doing speed runs, you can run really fast. Why not? And Treasure Hunter. Now, obviously, those are all quality of life. That one gives you high quality loot from chests. They're all quality of life stuff. It doesn't really matter, but I would recommend unlocking this as soon as possible because this one makes you use charges less, so you don't have to use so many soul gems. Again, none of them really affect combat, but they're nice to have if you can unlock them. Now, how does it work? Remember, this big circle is your space. Any heals inside of that, even if they're not yours, are stronger. Any. I'm going to take a Warhorn and a health bonus from him, because why not? Keep your bubbles up so that people can take the synergy for resources. Let it run its course, don't spam it. Keep your healing springs up for recovery and heal over time for the group. Keep this down, also for bonuses and healing done to your group. Unless everyone in your group is a 1-bar build, in which case swap it out for combat prayer and have a minor resolve, if they need it. Or just use this anyway for the heal, your choice. Update your crux. If it's not got a triangle-y, swirly thing, throw out some damage shields and get that crux, so then all this healing is stronger. You'll need 1, you don't need 3. But if you can get 3, your beam is going to be stronger. While those are all down, whenever you need to, beam at whoever needs healing. And it doesn't have to be one target over there, one target over there. You can get people stacked up and get them all at once. I'm going to give you a short demonstration as to how powerful this can actually be. So if I heavy attack for Major Mendin and then beam him, look at the crits. Anyone caught inside of that, even without critting there, are getting stupidly high heals. That's every 0.3 seconds. How many DPS do you know that need a heal that goes up to 38k? That's the highest crit I've seen out of it so far. How many DPS do you know that need a 38k heal every 0.3 seconds? Most damage ticks are 1 to 2 seconds. They're not going to die. Unless they get hit by something that hits harder than their health bar, you are going to full heal your whole group constantly while this is on the ground. It is incredibly powerful, but you've got to maintain that heavy. Heavy attack makes all the difference because your major mending will overlap the timer of the beam. The last tick of that can actually hit 38k. The last 3 ticks are all in high 30s if you crit. Even your first tick can be a mid 20 if you crit. It's absolutely stupid. So bloody powerful, and you can move with it as well. It doesn't matter where you are, as long as you aim at the person that you want to heal. That is going to keep a tank alive all day long. It's going to keep everyone else alive all day long. The downside is player awareness. You have to know where to aim. Breath of Life can, on some builds, go up to like 40k plus. But that's cast once, cast once, cast once. This is 3 of those ticks sometimes, or close to, every second. It is bonkers. So again, major mending with a crux, keep the beam coming. Keep the stuff on the ground, drop your ulti when you need to. And also, this ulti needs to be healed. As you can see there, really not a problem. As long as your heals are going in the direction of that glyph, that's max, then everyone's got major protection the whole time. And that's massive. It's huge. Look at the size of it. This is your safe space. Don't let people die. That's basically it. Now it's time for fashion. So, we're actually using the same style throughout. This is all light armor of the same style, but not on the legs. Obviously, because the legs can't be seen because he's got no pants. This is, and I cannot pronounce this, so I'm going to tell you to say arc, and then try to put your tongue between your teeth and then sneeze, and you'll probably pronounce it correctly. All of this is obviously painted, but we're using one color, and we're not using it in many places. We've got it on the head, the chest, none on the shoulder, on the hands, none on the belt, and one on the legs, or feet even, and then 2 on the staff. These places will obviously be shown in the screenshot on the website when we have the written guide up, but you only have to color a very small amount of it because the rest of it is base. All that gold comes with it. Now the staff, of course, is from the same motif style, so if you've got that book, just put it all on light and a staff. Job done. Right, people, hopefully that helps. Hopefully that wasn't too boring. Hopefully it wasn't too complicated. It is a 1-bar build. It's designed to be very, very simple, and it's designed to also be very, very powerful. The heals it puts out are bonkers, and they will trump any single target heal that exists already in the game. But you do have to aim it. So be aware of what your group is doing, and don't slack on your target reticle. Don't want to aim at there when you want to heal someone over there. That's about as complicated as it's going to get. Dots on the ground, pots even, crux, beam. Don't forget to heavy attack. Oh, one more thing I forgot. That heal is also for you. With a warden buff in the group, we've got almost 30k health. Unless something hits you for 30k health, you're not going to die. Because you're basically full health every single tick almost. Bonkers. So, first of all, people, thank you very, very much for watching. I hugely appreciate the support. If you are not subscribing already, please do hit that button. It is free. Furthermore, if you want to help support outside the channel, there are some links in the info section for Patreon, Twitter, Facebook, the website zynogaming.com, and there's loads of other stuff. Just Google Zyno, you'll find things. This is the first of many Arcanist builds. Enjoy.